I'm Marshall Pitts.
Module Pitts.
I'm Myron Pitts.
And we are
MP3.
Welcome to the MP3 show with Marshall, Module, and Myron, three brothers. We're glad to be here in the studios this morning. We have a lot on tap for you. So, Myron, let's take it away.
Yeah, so
Three actual biological brothers. You know, our
right.
audience might not do that. Just, you say three brothers.
Right.
And people might think we just,
we were that too.
But we're all that.
We that too.
Yeah.
We all that.
We
We're
three
all
brothers and three brothers.
the trio of talk radio. So
Right.
we got we're gonna talk today about a Supreme Court case where Rastafarian
First of all, was all that necessary, what you just did?
Yeah, but I mean, I think the listening audience need to know we're three
I
brothers.
think it's good for them to know.
Biological.
Okay, just check. Make sure it was
I
necessary.
think it's good to know. We're going to talk about a Rastafarian who got his hair cut against his religious beliefs and against his will. That case went to the Supreme Court. We're going to talk about what happened, the implications of that. We're going to talk about the jealousy that we believe Donald Trump has for former President Obama, who opened his library, received a lot of positive attention, and the negative and mean tweets and social media from Trump really went off the charts during that while he's dealing with this whole reflecting pool situation. We'll talk about all that. And lastly, we're going to take a look toward 2028, what the presidential field looks like, particularly on the Democratic side. Kamala Harris, who lost to Trump last time out, looking like she wants to run again. Gavin Newsom in California and other candidates. So we will talk about that whole scene. So down in Louisiana, a guy who was serving...
And the hair. The hair is very important to a lot of people.
Exactly. Damon Lander, he was serving a 6-month sentence. It was a federal sentence, but he was serving in a jail down there in Louisiana. And they cut his hair against his will. He had paperwork showing them that because he was Rastafarian, which, you know, their religion is tied into their hair, that they could not do that under federal law.
Not only did he showed them the actual law.
The actual document. He carried a printout with it because he's probably encountered situations like this before. Well, long story short, they threw it in the trash and cut his hair anyway.
Threw the law in the trash can, then shaved his hair.
Yeah, and shaved them bald too on top of that. So he sued. And the case worked its way all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, where Mr. Landor, unfortunately, in my opinion, lost the case 6-3. They were saying he cannot recover the money, the money he was trying to get, because the federal law didn't apply to the officers,
to the employees who were working in the actual jail.
Right. Now, Marsha, we were talking before the show. You're the lawyer here, and you were saying to you...
Usually don't defer to me as a lawyer.
This time I am.
Okay.
But you were saying...
when something doesn't make any sense.
Or it's too complicated.
So we look for some nonsensical legalese.
Right, yeah. So you were saying the Supreme Court really kind of went out of the way to justify. Can you explain that to folks?
Well, first of all, there's statutory authority where when governments do contracts with employees, like in the school system, the school system may have governmental immunity, and they may hire employees to work for them. But if the employees do something that's out of the way or shouldn't be doing, the employees can be sued in certain different scenarios. Mm-hmm. Well, the Supreme Court said in this scenario, because the contracting company, the federal incarceration company, the government contracted with them, not with the employees, and therefore, since the government contracted with them and gave them the money, then what the employees did is not protected. Because the employees didn't participate in engaging and signing the contract with the government. That's the point they're making.
Now you see why we need lawyers to make sense of something that
doesn't make sense.
That does not make any sense, because usually when people sue, you've sued people before, I'm sure.
Yes.
And usually when people sue, then they're going to sue the institution.
Right.
They sue the employee too.
Right.
But they're going to sue the institution because of what, Myron? They want to get more money.
They want to get more money.
They want to get more money.
Yeah.
So they're going to sue the institution that made these rules or laws. There's a contract in place. An employee's ignorance of the contract should not make any difference.
Exactly.
It should not be,
No, it should. And normally it doesn't. In this situation, they did.
Basic stuff like him not being able to, them not understanding that they can't cut someone's hair
and not caring.
And not caring that they should not cut someone's hair.
Yeah.
Now you two guys wouldn't have to worry about that because both of y'all don't have any hair.
No, you don't
Right.
either.
So,
I think
I don't think he has
that's a
much to worry
three-way.
about either. Right?
it would be more offensive to me if they tried to make me grow hair.
Right. Yeah.
Then I guess it would be. But when you think about something like this,
Yeah.
you're going back and forth with a guy about his haircut. If a guy doesn't want his haircut, I don't know the rules of the Louisiana jail, but a guy doesn't want his haircut. Why is that a big deal? He doesn't want his haircut, period.
Yeah.
I know that when I worked in the prison system as a correction officer, that one of the things we did was we respected tried to respect people's
Their
rights.
hairstyles.
Yeah.
Hairstyles,
Yeah.
food.
But this just wasn't a
those kind of
hairstyle with him. It was a religious way of life.
Which is all the
Right.
more reason.
Which is
the court should have
protected.
sided with him.
Which is protected under the Constitution. So that was very
It was protected, not in Louisiana. It's not.
well.
Yeah.
Again, they were saying he wasn't part of this contract. The employees who did that. So
And this is a
therefore,
classic case. Whenever you see a court,
Go out of their way.
whenever you see a court go out of the way to justify a decision and it doesn't make sense to the average person, it's usually there's a real reason. This court and the Supreme Court in general, but this one in particular, is very conservative. The decision came down 6-3. The 6 conservatives voted for it. The 3 liberals voted against it. But not just conservative. All but one are Catholic and very much people of faith. Really, the whole court is like that. And I do not believe for 1 second if the plaintiff was a Christian who
Said the same thing.
said the exact same thing. I think all the claims could be the same,
Right.
except the person was Christian.
You have a different decision.
You would have had a different decision, and that's not the way courts should work.
So,
Right.
so was Clarence one of the 6 or one of the 3?
Of course, you know where Clarence was.
I'm not sure.
Clarence is one of the 6.
We can't assume where Clarence fell at.
Clarence Thomas is one of the 6. And so I just really think that it shows the court upholding bias. And really, the fundamental issue, Marshall, you got to it, it's religious freedom. Even if there was just a cosmetic reason, for like you were saying, Mike, if the guy didn't want his hair cut, that should be the end of it. But it's actually deeper than that.
Much
It's
deeper
about his religious freedom, and this is a clear violation of that.
Right.
It's really, in my opinion, just pathetic that he can't get any damages from this because it's gone as far as it can go. Now that's the end.
So
of it.
now-
And you're talking about something that would have taken years.
Yeah.
So now
years to grow.
what should happen with the Supreme Court? How can we rectify this situation?
Well, there's no rectifying.
That's a question for the ages.
currently right now. Yeah.
Term
Down-
Right, a lot. Well,
Term limits.
or adding people to the court,
Term
which
limits.
I don't see any of those things happening in the near
You
future.
should not be able to sit in any position without a judicial position, without someone having to vote for you or something else to go on. You just not be, and you should not have to answer for your rulings.
Yeah.
They don't have to answer for the rules. They don't care whether it's right or whether it's wrong, and they can come up with these legal findings like you just did and try to explain. It was even
Right.
difficult for you to explain that.
yeah, he's a lawyer.
And you're
Right.
an attorney.
Yeah.
So for the rest of us to try to understand something like this, term limits is what you have. Give them 20 years.
And in North Carolina, there's age limits on how long
Yes.
someone
Yes.
can serve.
Yes.
I don't know if that's for all state employees or just for judges.
That's right.
But I know it applies to judges.
So
You have to
Supreme
retire
Court-
at a certain age.
So the Supreme Court doesn't even have age limits.
No.
no
limits.
That's for life.
And many of
Not
them
just
die
the Supreme Court,
on
but
the court.
federal judges. Period.
That's right.
You
That's
can serve
correct.
as for life, a life appointment.
Yeah.
Okay, but we gotta move on. Don't give me
that even sounds ridiculous. Because you and I both know that there should be some age limits on everything.
Yeah.
A lower age limit when you can't be on the Supreme Court unless you're at least a certain age, and a higher age limit too.
You're not listening for life.
It would require really an act of Congress to change that.
Right.
So
well, we need
like
that.
Marcia said, that's not going to happen anytime soon.
No.
So there's two images, moving to our next topic, that have been in people, that kind of in people's head at the same time. One is President Obama, former President Obama, and his family, friends, and other people opened the Obama Library, and it's a center. So there's all kinds of things to do there. It's very public. People can come in there and do all sorts of activities.
There's a lot of acreage to it.
A lot of acreage to it. It's beautiful. I don't know if you haven't seen pictures of it, we're going to put some up here shortly. But it's really a great facility. So the juxtapositions, you have that on one hand. Then on the other hand, is also in the news at the same time.
Smackdown, White House lawn.
Well, there's a couple of things, right? There's a MMA. Mixed martial arts.
Right.
The MMA event. I'm blanking on the name of the company that does it. It's the main one.
Right.
But in any case, that's all set for the White House lawn. It happened. They had to scar up the lawn to do it, and it's mixed martial arts and everything that goes along with that right there on the White House lawn. I understand people are fans of that, but that's not really necessarily the image people want to put out there in terms of the president.
For the 250.
Your brother has reached well into his dictionary. His dictionary, 50-cent dictionary. Juxtaposition.
That's right.
How about versus?
Right.
White House versus Obama.
Right. And then the other thing that's going on is the reflecting pool. You know, we've all seen it. It's between the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument. All of us have seen it in person. Many Americans have seen it on TV. The water has turned green now.
From the algae.
Trump here has put out a no bid contract, gave it to his friend, basically.
Who didn't know what he was doing.
He painted, the pool was drained. He painted the bottom of it. All the scientists are saying the color, the darkness of what he painted encourages algae growth.
Right.
And that growth has turned the pool green. And as a response to this embarrassment, Trump has federal officers out there arresting people who are taking things from the pool. And what they're taking is that paint from that bad paint job is already peeling off. So chunks of it. So it looks like a swamp.
It
looks trashy. So he's actually arresting people who are doing that, and now the pool has been fenced off.
So with Trump, it's not only that.
We have to go back to the origins.
But it's not only that Trump is doing these things, but he's putting people in place to build stuff, to paint stuff, who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
At the very least, he should have someone in place that should have told him that you can't paint dark colors at the bottom of it. He should have someone in place that to tell him how to build the ballroom at the White House. So he wouldn't keep looking silly when it comes down. But now what we also know is that President Trump really hates President Obama.
Well, it really kind of sparked that. Before he was one of the ones that was really pushing the birther position that former President Barack Obama was not a citizen of the United States.
Right.
And
was not born in the United States.
You're not born in the United States. And therefore...
some people didn't know Hawaii was in the United States.
Was not legitimate president. But, he pushed that. And then I guess the icing on the cake was President Obama at the roast that they have. Then cracked some jokes on him doing that at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and that they said that had President Trump seething.
Yeah,
and he's never been this. So everything when he got into office, he literally was methodical about trying to undo and destroy everything that Barack Obama had put in place. I mean, it was just so amazing to me. Everything if Barack's name was tied to it in any way, they would do whatever they could to undo it. across the board. For instance, the treaty that was with Iran.
Yeah.
Went in there and just destroyed it. Got out of it. We're pulling out of it.
Goes to war against a country.
Yeah.
Because of something that you are trying to undo.
Yeah.
Think about this for a second now. I don't have anyone, and I know you two, because I know you two guys. We don't have anyone that we hate that much. Matter of fact, I'm trying to think right off the top. Now, someone might hate me.
Oh, yeah.
But
we got plenty of that.
But I can't think of anyone that I hate that I would go to war if I was president. That I would go to war against another country just to undo. And not only you're undoing the things, and then you're trying to put them back in place.
Yeah.
Which is like the nuclear treaty, the inspections, which were already going on.
In place.
So you're undoing the Strait of Hormuz, which was already open. It was already open. So now you're trying to reopen, and then you're trying to classify that as a victory. It's not a victory. It was already open. But he hates President Obama.
Yeah.
To the detriment of him doing things that just seem nonsensical when it comes to.
All he had to do was leave the Iran deal alone.
Right.
Because now, like you say, he's putting the same deal in place, but it's after a war has been started.
People have been
we've lost American lives.
Right.
Gas prices are through the roof. And now he's trying to get the same deal. And what some people are saying is actually a worse deal for the United States, all because he couldn't handle President Obama.
Right.
So wrapping up,
but
here,
even simple stuff like the photographs. I mean, he was at one point they were talking about taking President Obama's picture.
Not talking about it. They did.
Right.
They moved it.
Moved it back
it to
into
another part.
More obscure area of
so
the
people that visit the White House, if they just take the basic tour, will not see those pictures of Obama, which were in some type of stairwell, which were visible when people just come through, kids, teach. But now it's gone. Those pictures are gone. Biden's too, probably gone. So he put them somewhere else.
Right.
So that people would not be able to see them. To me, that is the height of pettiness.
Yeah.
And you got a man who really hates, I don't know, it's consuming him. And that's the reason why he wanted the Nobel Peace Prize.
That's right.
He wanted the Nobel
Obama
because Obama won one.
Yeah.
I want to win one.
Right.
That's the height of
that's
like you
thinking.
6 or 7 years old when you start going down that road, talking about
And
things
so
like
he had on the day of the 250th birthday, and the day that they did the MMA on the lawn is the same time frame as when the presidential library for Barack Obama was open. And so the scenery from both of those events, one looks very, beautiful and presidential.
Presidential. That's what
the other one, not so much.
Right.
And so there was a lot of talk about that, and I'm sure that just made President Trump's head explode.
Right. And at the Obama Presidential Library, of course, the living former presidents showed up. Trump wouldn't have been invited. I'm sure wasn't invited and didn't come. So President Clinton and his wife and Hillary Clinton were there, former Senator Clinton, and then George W. Bush and his wife Laura were there, and of course the Obamas were there. It was a nice picture. Of course, Joe Biden, right?
And that's
and
another
Jill
thing.
were there, right?
I'm a big Barack, and I like to think a lot of them. The president.
I can feel a butt coming on.
But,
however, say however. Don't say but.
I don't think that they extended, from what I can tell from everything I read, they didn't extend an invitation to President
Nor should
Trump.
they have.
But you still gotta, he's still the president, whether we like it, whether anybody likes it or not. He's still the president of the United States, and this is an opening of a presidential library, and he should have been invited. In my opinion,
I disagree very strongly.
Yeah. Very strongly. I can tell by the way you look at it. Very strongly. I think that if he would have invited him, President Trump would not have come.
Oh, that's fine.
And would have made a big.
But he would have made a difference. He would. That's the thing about Trump. He's not going to just say, "Well, he invited me, and I decided it was the best interest of me not to go." He would have said, "Oh, they begged me to come."
Yeah,
they begged me to come, and I didn't come to that. Right. That's the reason why.
He definitely.
Second of all, the reason why he didn't invite President Trump, because if he had invited President Trump, then who would not have come?
Michelle Obama, right?
You got to Michelle
because Michelle Obama, for former first lady, she doesn't play with these people. She knows what they're about. I think for her to sit there with Trump in the same room would be no different than sitting with a member of the Ku Klux Klan. She's not going to do that stuff. At that, I finally remember the name of that event. It's UFC fighting, mixed martial arts.
Right.
At the very end of that event, one of the fighters who had just won should have been celebrating his victory. It's a big moment in his life. He took that moment to slur Michelle Obama. Say an awful, compare her to a man. Said she was a man.
Right.
So that's the kind of crowd. And Trump didn't say a mumbling word about that. Was smiling during it, in fact. So Michelle Obama is not messing with these people, and she's got the right idea. I wouldn't have invited him either. And then I'll be the first to say that my opinion has changed on this. But at a certain point, enough is enough.
But when they go low, you go high, Mike.
No, that's what she said. We all bought into that. When they go low, we go high.
It's not getting better though.
Yeah.
Right.
The thing is,
they're going ever lower.
Again, you can't go low enough. But that is the thing, and it always has been the thing. Is when with Trump, he would have said no. And then he would have made a big deal out of him.
He would have. And
he would have made a big deal out of him saying no. They begged me to come and all this other kind of stuff. And then and Obama's not the fact, even if he had come, it would have been something else.
Yeah.
It would have been some other to bring attention to himself
right.
and away from the event itself.
Yeah.
If you look at how Obama handled that. He handled it presidential. You use that word. One of y'all used the word presidential. He's presidential. He's presidential. Now he doesn't. He's not going to just say, "Well, look what I've done. Look at this venue. All I've put together." He's going to give it. He's going to give the right amount of praise to all the people
involved,
like most presidents would.
Right.
When you get something like that, that's not the time to not be humble. And I'm not saying that President Obama is the most humble, but Trump is the exact opposite.
Well, that's
anything.
fine.
Yeah, and so,
but he's still a president. Like it or not, he's still
okay. Well,
so just like when Jimmy Carter passed away.
Mm-hmm.
When Jimmy Carter passed away, all the presidents were there and their wives and their spouses. Barack was by himself. Michelle had decided. I don't know what happened, but I'm assuming she decided I'm not gonna go anywhere and have to sit beside this man. I don't want to be in any space with him.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, this is a former president, Jimmy Carter, who has passed away. It would behoove, in my opinion, all presidents and their wives to pay respect to President Carter.
Let me tell you.
Not saying she didn't do it in some other way, which I'm sure she did.
Let me tell you this, what you probably already know. And Myron, I know you know this too. Can't make your wife do anything.
That's right.
President or not.
That's right.
You can't make her do anything. If she says she ain't going, that's the end of that conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Move on.
Exactly.
At the end of that conversation part, move on. You might as well just move on. Whether you're president of the United States or anyone else in the world.
Well, anyway, we got to move on to the next topic.
Okay, so the presidential field of for 2028 is already kind of shaping up. Now, to clarify, no one's declared for that they're running yet. But you can see from the moves who's doing it. So California Governor Gavin Newsom is talked about a lot, and Pete Buttigieg,
is
Transportation
anyone else
Secretary.
Running from the right, from the Republican side? We know J.D. Vance.
We know J.D. Vance.
It's kind of cleared out.
Yes,
for him.
it's kind of cleared out. It hasn't formed yet.
Right.
Because no one wants to put their head up now when Trump's in office because he might jump on them for some reason.
Right.
So, and Pete Buttigieg has been talked about. He's Transportation Secretary under Biden. And, of course, Kamala Harris. What few polls that have been held about that field show that Harris actually, who's the last nominee, has a pretty sizable lead. It's so early, though, a lot of that's just going to be name recognition. Everybody knows her because, you know, she was lost a close race to Trump last time. So the question is...
So we're talking 2028, right?
Yeah, 2028. So the question is she still... Does she still got it? Do we think she can win the nomination? Some people even question, should she even be running? Because they feel like she's probably not going to win, but could win the nomination just based on good feelings from last time that Democratic voters have for her.
Well, a lot of voters have lost it doesn't take much in American politics for people to lose faith in. They like what they like, don't like what they, and they some people see her as, she didn't, we thought riding high on her last time, we thought she had a real good chance to win, and
some people
it didn't come close. I don't want to back that horse again.
You see how when you got a legal person, how they what he's trying to say is a lot of people think she's a loser because she's lost before in the primary. And Myron, you mentioned that before the show.
Yeah.
And
first time she ran for president,
and then she lost in the. Now again, I don't even really count this last loss, and the reason why
because she didn't have enough time.
She didn't have enough time to win.
Right.
You got to come out of the battle hardened primaries. You got to be able to fight through that, and then get the nomination, and then we can determine whether you could actually win this. She had 3 months. It was a whirlwind 3 months too.
Right.
And then she lost to a president that had a 30% backing from MAGA and whoever else. Would have been tough for anybody to beat.
And that's what people bring up, MP1, when they say, and MP1 and MP2, when they say that
MP1 is fine.
Yes, she lost. Yes, she lost, but she didn't really run, didn't have a chance to run a full campaign. In fact, she came in and rescued the ticket, because Biden was forced out, I would argue, by the media and some big time donors. But either way, he had to leave. I think it was the best choice to pick his VP rather than try to open up a new process, which would have given even whoever came out of that even shorter period to run. So people are saying, well, let's give her a chance to run a full campaign. And so I am not in the camp that believes she shouldn't run. If she wants to run for president, go ahead and run for president. If people like somebody else,
lack of enthusiasm when he said,
well, no. If
she wants to run for president, let her run for president.
Let her run for president. But some people have a completely different view. They believe that it's disruptive for her to run for president because they believe she'll split the vote and it'll be a rough primary to no real end. But I personally think if she wants to put her hat in the ring and everybody else, and we'll see who comes out. It's going to be a big field. Regardless.
Right.
I'm thinking we're probably looking about 25, maybe 30 candidates at the starting line.
The reason why
we'll see.
I'm just not confident. And again, it's just so hard to tell with former Vice President Harris is because he only had 3 months this last time. She did lose a full primary prior to.
Right.
But it's just hard to tell because it always depends. And Myron, you say this, it depends on who she's running against.
Yeah, and that's always the case.
She's not running against Trump this time.
Yeah.
And I don't care what anyone says.
It also depends on who she's running against in the primary.
Yeah.
All that makes a difference.
Yeah.
I think she can get by the primary. I do believe she could get by the primary. The question
You shaking your head, you don't think so?
I don't think so, no.
Well,
okay, that's enough said about that, huh?
I think she might could get by the primary because you think about the people that are going to pull for her.
Yeah.
The highest voting percentage block is going to pull for her.
African American women. Yeah.
She's going to have that block.
I don't know that she will have that block locked up. If she locks that block up, that's a long way away. I mean, that's a long way down toward getting the nomination.
I think she's got a shot. I don't think it's a lock, but I think she's got a shot. Her shot is just as good as anybody else's, if not better than most.
Now, you sound like me, just as good as anybody else.
And not better than most.
I personally, if just from a personal standpoint, I think that we should go in another direction from Kamala Harris.
Fresh face.
I think we should go with the fresh face.
And
when I say fresh face, I don't mean Gavin Newsom. I mean fresh.
I don't. Wes Moore out of Maryland.
Oh, no, definitely not.
Cory Booker out of Jersey.
No, and no.
Josh Shapiro out of Pennsylvania.
You ain't got nobody yet that I'm thinking of.
Who's the guy from Kentucky? Andy Bashir.
Out
of Kentucky.
What about the New York City mayor now?
I don't believe
you don't think he's ready?
He is eligible, actually. I think he actually was born in another country.
He's born somewhere else?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he would be a beast of a candidate in a good way.
Right.
But I don't think he's eligible. Right. AOC, what about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez?
You know she can't win.
I don't know that, actually. I do not know
she
that.
Can't win. Why you just throw dispersions on
let me just say this.
I think she's got her finger on the pulse of what's going on.
There is a reason why. There is a reason why we've never had a female president. We have to determine to ourselves, Is America ready now?
They might be now.
They might be.
And we said that last time.
Let's give it another go.
We said that about Hillary.
Third time the charm. Third time's the charm.
They might be ready. And I've told you guys this before. Maybe we should be just looking at 2 white men.
I think it's
maybe. And again, I'm not saying it depends on who. It depends on who the candidate is. Because Obama came out of nowhere.
To me, that's a conversation that people on shows like this and pundits have. Oh, it should be 2 white guys. But it's going to come down to the voters. They might not want that.
Right.
And so whatever the voters come up with, that's what we got.
They wanted it every other time. except for Obama and except for Harris.
Well, no, the last three times the Democrat voters have chosen, well, except for Biden, who won, but they chose Obama twice, and then they chose Hillary. And then Biden back to form, and then Kamala. So it's what the voters want.
And when it was a woman, they lost.
That's true. There are a lot of factors, though, in both cases.
A bunch of factors, including one of them being that was a woman.
That's true. Sexism is the issue that any female candidate has to overcome.
In America.
That's right, in America.
It is,
America,
really.
right.
All right, well, we have to wrap this up. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I am Marshall Pitts.
Module Pitts.
Myron Pitts.
And we are MP3. Have a wonderful day.